Slick, folks. He think he's slick. He think he's slick. I'm trying to figure out what's really going on.
Guy kind of shouts and has a whole bunch to say. Wonder why.
This guy think he's slick. Fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourself a round of applause for tuning in this week. Give my man Cleveland a round of applause, even though he don't deserve it right now. He trying to be slick and hating on the Clippers right now. But we're going to get into that conversation. You hold that thought right there, buddy boy. You hold that thought. Mm-hmm. Each and every week, fans, we get the show started, man, with just a kind of a montage, man, with the history of the show's been through, and we're going to get it started just like this right here.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy. I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm standing there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, is ball number number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your team's team.
30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights. Can I finish up? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about this upcoming?
Like I was saying before.
Well, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to evolve,
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy.
Ken, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do knowing that.
Surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, give here. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
Yes, sir. What's good, Barry? Thank you for tuning in, Daniel. Appreciate you. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Man, it's already February, Cleveland. Can you believe it? February 7th to be exact. 2024, man. The time doesn't stop for nobody, fans. Just remember that. Stop for nobody. If there's something you want to do, get out there and do it. Make it happen, man. Nobody's going to wait on you. Nobody's going to hold you back but yourself. Get out there and make it happen. If there's something you really, Cleveland, you trying to get done, like fans, I should be smacking right now on my barbecue ribs, man. It's just been a busy day that I just ain't been able to get to it. So I think, this is one of the times I really needed to do the, what's the DoorDash or something? The DoorDash, Uber Eats, Full Moon. I got to see if Full Moon delivers, man, because this is one of the times I really should have just called it in instead of cooking it myself and just been smacking on air. I'm going to do that. I might do that next week. I might do that next week because Cleveland deserves some smacking in his ear. Maybe we might have something on the Super Bowl. I don't know. We're gonna see how you're doing. But fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's the Voice of the Fans podcast. We really appreciate it. Each and every week, we're gonna give you some quality sports content. We're gonna talk about the championship weekend is already, so we're gonna preview the Super Bowl this week. We're gonna talk about the NBA the dunk contest. We got one of the legends of the dunk contest, Cleveland, to give me his input on how he thought he could make the dunk contest better. So I want you guys to hear that as well. We're going to talk about the NBA the trade deadline. What trades are out there? If there's some trades out there in the ether, fans, that you guys think you guys like to see or that should be done, hit us up in the chat at _ Voice of the Fan, or on the chat, however you're watching us, H&B Media TV, Voice of the Fans on YouTube. Hit us up in the chat. We'll get that message and we'll get you guys on air. Cleveland, there's some boxing talk. Your boy, clown face Teofimo Lopez is fighting tomorrow night. Now, you told me about a couple months ago that you weren't interested in no fights happening on Thursday. Oh, Floyd Mayweather never fought on Thursday. Now that your boy Teofimo's fighting on Thursday, I want to get your feedback on that. I want to see if you had that same energy that you had for who was it fighting on Thursday? Shakur Stevenson fought on the Thursday night. I want to know if you got that same energy for your boy Teofimo Lopez. We're gonna get to that matchup as well. And obviously, fans, we hit you with This Week in History, just a little educational segment that will let you guys know what some of the stuff that went on in history may have been forgotten about, that needs a little bit of recognition. But we started each and every week, Cleveland, with their numbers game. Before we get into our numbers game, man, well, I'm gonna save this topic for next week. I was promoting the virtues of that Google speed trap alert. Well, they let me down this week. They on my way to Atlanta for the Clippers versus Hawks game. The speed trap on Google Alerts didn't help me out this week. I'll get into that next week once the situation is resolved. But Cleveland, we start every day off with the numbers game. When you think of the number 7, Cleveland, who wore that number jersey the best? Or who comes to your mind first?
You know, Cam, who comes to mind first is Carmelo Anthony, Medal of God, when he was playing in the Garden for the New York Knicks. Who wore it the best? I'm going to have to go with John Elway.
Carmelo Anthony. You mentioned his name before John Elway or before Michael Vick. Come on. I think John Elway, man, 5 Super Bowl appearances. I mean, that's pretty impressive. We're gonna get into we talked about dynasties a couple weeks ago. When we did not mention John Elway's 5 appearances, we did not mention Buffalo Bills 5 or 4 in a row. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Now that you look back on it, I thought it was very impressive then to get there 4 times in a row, even though they didn't win it. The first one, it was a wide right field goal that they missed. Who knows how that changes the landscape of football if it actually goes in? If that goes in, do they now have the confidence? And it's funny to say that the field goal going, you wrote the article on the kicker situation a couple weeks ago, but it's funny to say if that field goal goes 6 more inches to the left and actually goes in the uprights and they win that Super Bowl, does that give Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Andre, did that give all those guys more confidence going into the next season? Does that set them apart? How does that set them apart, and how does their trajectory change? I don't know that they're going to beat the Cowboys in that second appearance or that third appearance.
No. It was the Cowboys' 3rd and 4th appearance. It was the Skins in the second appearance.
It was the Skins in 91. That's right. It was the Skins 91. I think I probably had them beating the Skins. So that it's just kind of weird how that trajectory changes, though. Does that give them more confidence? How does that change history? That's still a hell of a feat. We haven't seen it then. What's up, Bootzilla? Thanks for tuning in, big dog. We still don't know, but we still haven't, in my lifetime, we haven't seen a team go to the Super Bowl 4 years, 4 consecutive years. He's now given to the AFC championship 6 years in a row, but they haven't made to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. So, got to put some respect on those Buffalo Bills name now that we look at it. And when you think of the number 78, speaking of those Buffalo Bills, Cleveland, who's the number that come to your mind? Who first come to your mind, or who wore that jersey number the best?
Well, Cam, you propped it up real nice. It's Bruce Smith comes to mind first and wore it the best. I was actually, when I saw that number come up, I was looking through my jersey collection and realized I didn't have a B. Smith in my jersey collection. That's blasphemous, man. I remember the way he used to. Do you remember the way he used to sack Dan Marino, Cam?
Oh, look at you! look at you! Why you bring that up? Why you Cleveland's on a hating spree today, folks.
No, listen.
This is on a hating spree. He's on a hating spree between texts and his comments on YouTube. He's on one today. I don't know what's getting into this dude today, but he's just been hating. Yeah, they ran into some juggernauts, just like I said.
It speaks to the character. It speaks to
your character right now. Where your mind's at right now. That's what it speaks to.
Okay, so then you don't remember how you used to sack Dan Marino.
Dan Marino didn't get sacked very often.
I know.
He had a quick release. He got rid of the ball pretty quickly, if you recall.
And when Bruce used to come off the edge, unblocked, he would get to Dan Marino, and he would just give him a great big bear hug. And be like, hey, it's me. And Dan Marino would be like, oh, and just fall to the ground. Like, we're not struggling with Bruce. And thank you so much for prolonging my career for years and years and years, because you could have done something really crazy and you didn't. You just came up and gave me a big bear hug, and I fell to the ground.
I mean, but there's some Bruce is in the Hall of Fame, but Anthony Munoz, Jackie Slater. I mean, I give Bruce the nod over Art Shell, but I mean, those are some prolific. And Munoz, how many times he make the Pro Bowl? Like 13 years in a row? Multiple
times.
Jackie Slater's a massive dude too, man. So there's some people to contend with, man. This week, get into some topics before we preview the Super Bowl. The Chargers. Obviously, they had the announcement of Jim Harbaugh last week. Jim Harbaugh says his goal to win multiple championships. He put it out there in the ether. Their target is to win multiple championships. Cleveland doesn't agree with Harbaugh. He doesn't even think Harbaugh is really that impressive, because I try to bring up his track record, which his track record is outstanding. But Cleveland ignores what he did in San Diego State, ignores what he did at Stanford, ignores what he did. It took San Francisco to the Super Bowl in his first year as the head coach. That was like similar to what Phil Jackson did when he first took over your Lakers. They went right to the finals, right? Right to the finals. His first year, boom, right to the finals. But you don't want to give Harbaugh that type of credit. And then he goes to Michigan, obviously wins the championship there. Now they got Greg Roman. That doesn't excite me. Get Greg Roman as an offensive coordinator. That doesn't speak to me as explosive offense.
Dipping back into the San Francisco days, it sounds like what he's doing.
I mean, that doesn't speak to. I mean, this is not. That just doesn't speak explosive offense to me. And you got Herbert, you got a quarterback. You supposed to be going upfield. Like I know you want to focus on the running game, but Roman doesn't add enthusiasm to me. And then he gets Marcus Brady as a passing game coordinator. Well, we'll see kind of how that does. And he signs his old friend Jesse Minter as a DC. So we see some things changing, but I'm just kind of concerned with that Greg Roman. Maybe he brings a running game there. I'm not sure. We'll see how that works out. But your guy Dan Quinn goes to the Commanders. He signs with the Commanders as head coach there. How do you is that a good hire? You excited about that hire, Dan Quinn? I mean, we talked about he given in his last playoff game, he gave up 40 plus points against a rookie. I guess that's why you end up as a Commanders HC. I don't know. What do you think about the hire for Dan Quinn?
Well, I will give the Washington Commanders the benefit of the doubt that they did their due diligence and, interviewed all of these potential candidates and decided he was the best one. I don't think he's a bad hire. Does he get them to the next level? Does he get them to the playoffs? I'm not 100% certain about that. I think it depends on which quarterback that they draft and what he's able to do. I was a little bit more surprised that Cliff Kingsbury is their offensive coordinator. Didn't take the Vegas job, and I'm not quite sure what pieces he has to work with. I don't think he does either. I think that they're probably, targeting Drake May, unless they want to give up multiple picks for Caleb.
Okay,
sure that
so
Chicago
goes back.
is
I
even
think
willing to do that.
how many times have I asked you this question? How many times have I asked you this question? What do you do? What do the Bears do with Justin Fields?
It sounds like they've made their decision that they're going to trade him and draft Caleb.
Is that what you heard?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing quite a bit. Yeah.
I mean, so if that's the case, they're going to have to do that sooner than later, right? They'd have to do that sooner, like before the draft, or they have to do that sooner than later, because you want to clear your path. And we've heard from the Caleb plant that Caleb might pull an Elway or and say, I really don't want to play with you guys. And if that's out there, why would you draft the guy? Why would you draft the guy and not keep Justin Fields, who you kind of developed? I going into the season, I thought it was kind of going into the off season, I thought it was a no-brainer initially that you paid Caleb Williams the $45 million, whatever you pay him, you got him for 5 years. You're going to have to pay roughly that for Justin Fields per year. And Justin Fields hasn't shown that much that he's deserving of that $40+ million per year. That's why I thought it was kind of a no-brainer that they go the Caleb Williams route. However, I've kind of heard the opposite, that Justin Fields is in the house, better to deal with the known than the unknown. With that being the case, is you get Justin Fields, you draft the receiver, Mr. Ohio State, who Cleveland says, I just put it out there right now. Cleveland says if the kid's name was Jackson Smith, he definitely wouldn't have been in the Heisman category, and he probably wouldn't have been a number 1, 2, or 3 pick. Is that, you said something similar to that? Am I not correct?
No, you nailed that. I did say that.
However, his name is Marvin Harrison Jr., and he did have nearly 1,600 yards, over 1,600 yards receiving in big time college football, the Big 10 or the Big 15 or 18, whatever they are now. So he's probably the best receiver coming out, right? Or would you go Dunez, or would you trade back to go Dunez? Who would you draft? What I've heard is they'll go draft a receiver to pair with Justin Fields and then take it from there. But you're saying they're going to draft Caleb and then trade him. Who do you trade him to? Who would you, if you're the Hawks, do you trade for Justin Fields? If you're the Commanders, do you trade for Justin Fields? Carolina's not going to do it. They're not going to admit that problem right off the bat. If you're the Jets, do you Jets aren't going to do it. They still have A-Rod, which wouldn't probably be a bad move. Who would you trade? Who should trade for Justin Fields if he's available? Do you trade for Justin Fields? If you're Seattle, I wouldn't say Pete and John. I can't say Pete and John no more. I mean, who is it? Is it Pete and McDonald? We got Ronald McDonald up there. Is it John and McDonald up there? Do you trade for Justin Fields if you're the Seahawks?
No, if you're the Seahawks, you don't trade for Justin Fields. We're in a rebuild mode. We have yet to establish who an offensive coordinator is going to be. So it's far-fetched to think that Justin Fields can work in any situation. So we're not trading for him.
You're one game out of the playoffs and you're in a rebuild. You're tearing it down to the studs.
Yeah, we're going in a completely different direction, Cam. I mean, Pete.
What direction are you going?
What
direction are you going? We're a completely different direction other than winning, trying to make the playoffs.
Mr. McDonald's direction. We have to see what transpires here.
Oh You know, we might as well jump into it right now. What do you think of this Ronald McDyer hire? And then you got Belichick, the young Belichick on the team here. What do you think about what is John going through right now?
No, I love the hire of McDonald. Belichick is with the University of Washington, so he's not part of the conversation with regards to the Seahawks. Yeah, so they're still looking for coordinators, and once they fill out the roster, that'll be great. And we're excited up here about the energy, enthusiasm, and technique scheme that he's bringing.
You're excited for Ronald McDonald on the defensive DC? I mean, he doesn't have any coordinators. So I mean, what is he doing? The Chargers has hired half their staff by now. What's going on up there?
That's great for the Chargers.
Is he at Salties or what? Is he at Salties, Daniels? Do you have to get him away from the table or what?
They're assessing what what the best coordinators are for the positions, and once they make their decision, then they'll go that direction. It's fine.
I mean, the days are ticking by. I mean, how are you gonna wait to the draft to decide who your coordinators are?
No, probably not that long. It'll get done next week or so.
What are we doing? So you're excited for the McDonald hire, Ronald McDonald up there, huh?
Yeah.
Does he have size 16 overblown shoes too? Or I mean, how was he in the press conference?
No, just the coordinator of the #1 defense in the league in every statistical category. Perhaps you forgot that.
I mean, there were some talented players over there for that defense. There
were some.
I mean, you've always like to say it's not the coaches, it's the talent, right? That's what you like to tell me.
I mean, that is, more often than not, that's what's going on for sure. But bringing that scheme to the Seattle Seahawks, we're excited about it.
Oh, all of a sudden now coaching matters. now coaching with a scheme matters. I mean, this guy, fans, tune in and smack Cleveland across the head, who's always said coaching doesn't matter, who likes to use that verbiage. So you don't like Cliff Kingsbury? I mean, as the OC, I mean, it's kind of weird. Now, maybe do you go sign Eric Bieniemy? Do you bring Eric Bieniemy in? Are you interested in Bieniemy as coaching up Geno Smith?
I mean, I'm interested in him. Obviously, he has a track record of success, and I would hope that they at least, kick the tires on him for sure.
Well, did you call John? Did you let John know what you're thinking?
John knows. I think John is really just waiting to see what Grubb is going to do. I mean, that's what I keep clicking on my refresh about is what's Grubb doing? If Grubb comes here, it's a wrap, man. We're running things in 2 years or less.
You just told me you're rebuilding over there. How's the coach going to make it?
But if we get Grubb as the offensive coordinator and quite possibly picking Penix in the second round. I mean, that's plug and play.
You guys see? All of a sudden now coaching matters. This is hysterical. This is absolutely hysterical, fans. This is hysterical that this guy, for years and years and years, I tried to tell him that coaching matters. And he says, no, it doesn't. It's all about talent.
Yeah, it matters to a point.
Now he's making
because if you don't have the talent to run the scheme, then your scheme is meaningless.
But you're trying to bring in you're trying to spout the virtues of what McDonald did with talent over there in the Ravens on the Ravens team.
Were they really that talented? They had some talented. They had some talent.
Oh, now the Ravens weren't very talented. Hey, man, did you guys hear this? Now he just told them the Ravens weren't very talented. The team that was in the AFC Championship is not very talented, according to.
Well, I mean, you can't name me 3 defensive players on that Ravens defense, now can you? Yeah. What?
Yeah, I can never name enough. Can you name 3 different defensive players? Can you name 3 different players? That's
exactly what I said. I would say Humphreys. I would say Patrick Queen. I would say Hamilton at safety. Those are 3 I came up with.
Those are the only 3 you can name?
Who are you coming up with, Cam?
I mean, that's enough. That's all I need to know is Tucker and Gus Edwards and Lamar.
Glad I can help you out. Glad I can help you out with those 3.
So you're telling me, so now it's not the talent, it's coach that did that for them. Am I understanding that correctly?
You said he had a bunch of talent over there. I said, name me 3 players. You couldn't name any.
No. That's not what we're saying, Cleveland. I'm hung up on you saying coaching doesn't matter, but your
Coaching
your
doesn't matter.
historical logic has been coaches don't matter. Now you want to spout the virtues of what McDonald did with the talent in Baltimore and say, oh, it's now a scheme, which equals coaching. And now you're talking about Grubb. If we get Grubb over there, now we're set. Come on, Cleveland, you're speaking out both sides of your neck right now.
No, I'm not.
You're speaking out both sides of your neck.
I'm absolutely not. You have to have the talent to run the scheme.
So the Bears, I didn't get. I'm sorry, I didn't get. Going back to the Bears, I didn't get. You're saying they should trade Fields. Who would you take if you're Fields? Who if you're quarterback in need or your team in need of a quarterback? Who would you take? Who should trade for Justin Fields?
I think the Raiders have a good a good idea to trade for him. I think maybe the Saints, unless they're really, really secure with Derek Carr. What do the Minnesota Vikings want to do?
Ooh.
They haven't decided if they want to keep Kirk Cousins for all that money. Let's see here.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Atlanta Falcons. I mean, are they really sold on Desmond Ridder? I mean, those are type of teams that could trade for him.
They can't be. I mean, the Giants. What are the Giants?
They have Daniel Jones, so they're not trading for him.
I mean, Daniel Jones, can he make it a full season? We'll see. We have to see about that. But they signed Titans DC, former defensive coordinator, as their new DC. The Raiders signed Luke Getsy. I mean, you talking about does Fields want to go play with Luke Getsy as an OC for Las Vegas? Ooh, I don't know about that particular hire. That's kind of questionable. Cleveland, did you see the article? New York Times, of all places, that posted an article saying Travis Kelce made the fade famous. Did you see that?
I did not see the article, and it's blasphemous to think that Travis Kelce made the fade famous. So I think that's probably why I didn't really put too much stock into what was going on with that one. But he is the new shiny toy, so to speak. And if he gets another Super Bowl here, back-to-back Super Bowls, then I mean it just makes all of the
three Super Bowls or not. I mean, how are you gonna say that Travis Kelce made the fade famous, man? I mean, this is the New York Times. This isn't the Puyallup Post. This is the
I get that, and they have quite a bit of extensive body of work with which to kind of make that decision. Clearly, it's wrong, but
clearly they have no cultural.
They're just a prisoner of the moment.
Well, no, clearly they have no cultural representation in that newsroom because that's what that's showing right there. If you're going to say that Travis Kelce invented the fade when the fade's been worn, I was cutting the fades in the early 80s. So, I mean, my goodness, and I could not say I invented the fade. That was prevalent then, years before then. So, that was atrocious. That was shame on the New York Times for that. Cleveland, do you see the Chiefs as a villain? It's kind of weird that I find it at least kind of weird that people are kind of villainizing the Chiefs and tired of the Chiefs, tired of Mahomes. I don't get that. Do you get that at all?
Well, I don't think that they're vilifying the Chiefs. I think what happens is that people just get tired of the same old team winning over and over again and eventually want to see something different. And that's where we're at with this.
That right now we're at that with the Chiefs. Are you tired of the Chiefs?
I'm not tired of them. I want to see how far they can extend their greatness.
I mean, I'm willing to say this. I'm willing to say this right now. February 7th, 2024. I haven't seen a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. In my eyes, I did see Patrick play a couple times, actually. Come to think about it, but with my own eyes, I have not seen.
Are you saying the history of football? I mean, look,
in the history of football, I have not seen a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Have you? Have you seen a quarterback with the arm strength that Patrick Mahomes has? Have you seen a quarterback with the elusiveness? Have you seen a better quarterback with the smarts to the winning attitude? Have you seen a better quarterback than Patrick
Cam,
Mahomes?
I'm not willing to give Patrick Mahomes the GOAT crown right this very second. We'll see what they can do on Sunday. And even if they win on Sunday,
Win or lose, I haven't seen a better. I personally have not seen a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Win or
You've watched
lose.
football a long time, so your assessment is kind of suspect. I think. I'm pretty sure he's not
suspect
in the Montana Brady conversation already. Is he?
Montana. And so here's where you want to say. You say the coaching don't matter, so we're going to go with coaching doesn't matter. Montana had a lot of weapons that he played with, and I know you don't want to give the rest of the team credit of what the quarterback doing because it's kind of what Purdy's doing right now. Montana ran that. He got in the car, that Corvette, and he hit every curve right on pace. He hit every straightaway. He got the most out of every straightaway. Every hairpin turn, he was right on point. Montana running that well-oiled machine that was called the West Coast offense that people still run today. Montana ran that excellently. In tune to 4-0 Super Bowls. I don't think Montana. I maybe you could help me out. I don't think Montana had the arm, the throwing ability that Patrick Mahomes has. Was he on point? Was he perfect?
Before we get too far into this, I'm not ready to crown Patrick Mahomes the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL just yet.
I mean, what are you waiting for?
A little bit more.
You want to see more rings? So you're just simply counting rings. You're simply counting 1, 2, 3 rings. That's all you're doing is counting rings because Montana played on a dynasty, a team with Jerry Rice.
We just aforementioned John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls. I mean,
Does that make him the best quarterback ever? John Elway was a beast. John Elway in his time could run. John Elway was one of the few quarterbacks that can roll to your right and throw 70 miles to the other hash. Not many quarterbacks can make that throw. That's what set John Elway apart. He had a rifle arm. Okay. Even with John Elway's history.
Tom Brady good? Is he Peyton Manning good already? He's already better than both of those guys?
He's better than Peyton Manning. That's not even a question. Is he Tom Brady? Is he Tom Brady? Again, a lot of people are going to say rings. I'm not in the
you're not in the rings. I know. I'm
not in the I'm not the one to say that Tom Brady was a GOAT, end of story. You know that's not me. It hasn't been me. So when you want to say Tom Brady, I can say there's some factors into the situation that allowed Tom Brady to win the 6 championships he won with the Patriots. And I give Tom Brady, I just had this conversation earlier today. It's funny. I'll give Tom Brady credit being able to select a good team when he went to Tampa Bay and won a 3rd one. Or excuse me, a 7th championship. Let me correct myself. Yeah. The 7th Super Bowl. I'll give Tom Brady his credit for his ability to identify a good team. Now, people will forget, and people will poo-poo the situation the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in. They had a good team. The quarterback the year before threw 40 touchdowns and 40 interceptions. They just simply need somebody who wasn't going to throw 40 interceptions. Tom Brady fit that bill. He knew in the NFL, obviously, one of the weakest divisions in football. So he went to a team. He said, if I don't throw 40 interceptions, we should be good. He didn't throw 40 interceptions. Everybody knew he wasn't going to throw 40 interceptions. Obviously, put him in the running for the playoffs, and you saw what they went ahead and did. But Tom Brady had some help. Do you recall? Do you remember that or not? I mean, he did.
Patrick Mahomes had some help, Cam. And I'm not ready to even really engage in this.
What are you waiting for? That's what I want to know. What are you waiting for?
Well, I'm waiting.
Can we talk about this? If he wins on Sunday,
we can address this conversation again.
He needs another ring. He needs another ring to enter the conversation. To your point, sure. That Patrick Mahomes needs another ring to enter the GOAT conversation.
As the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll see. mean, we'll see how things go, how things transpire, and where he lands. But I'm not far from. I personally think he's the best quarterback. I don't need to. I don't need the result.
I know you've been endorsing him since he was in kindergarten, Cam. I get that.
Just as long as you remember that when he was on the bench,
sure.
and I needed one preseason game to say that this kid should have been starting.
Yeah. Kick Alex Smith out the door, and hey, man, what are they waiting for?
Alex Smith wouldn't have started the season if it was up to me. He wouldn't have started that season, even though they did go 13-1. He would. Alex Smith would not have started that season had I been the coach, or had I been Bieniemy or Andy Reid. Andy Reid, he did a good job holding his water. He did a good job holding his water, buddy. Outside the coaches, Andy Reid, Shanahan, the quarterbacks, Purdy and Mahomes, who will a Super Bowl win impact the most this on Sunday? Will it impact the guy you called a special teams player? You know what I'm talking about, right? Debo Samuels, McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Kelsey, Bosa, Chase Young. Who will be impacted most with the Super Bowl win come Sunday, outside the coaches and the quarterback?
Christian Jackson McCaffrey.
Would you be a believer in Mr. McCaffrey at that point? Would you apologize on air? Would you apologize on air?
Dirt on my name from 17 years ago. But we've been past that for quite some time. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are good. You already apologized to him?
We're more than good. Yeah, I apologized years ago.
You're
the only one still bringing it up.
I don't remember you apologizing. Yeah, he just texted me. He just texted me the other day. It was like, have I done enough?
Text me 3 minutes before the show started. Said, man, it's all good, man. In case Cam wants to keep bringing that old nonsense up, man.
Because again, I thought they need rings. I thought guys like that
need a ring. He does need a ring to validate his greatness.
So if he doesn't win a ring, he's just a special team player again.
Quite possibly a Hall of Famer, but not a champion.
Oh, see how you do. So this will be more than Bosa or Young.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Chase Young. We apologize to Chase Young. He win a ring with these Niners.
No, there's no apologizing to Chase Young. He's not what he was supposed to be.
Wow, that's pretty cruel. That's pretty cool. I want to go Purdy, but I eliminated him for this discussion.
Good, thank you.
You're tempting me right now. How do the Chiefs beat the Niners on Sunday? What has to happen for the Chiefs to beat the Niners on Sunday? In your opinion, people?
They have to establish the running game.
Oh,
they
really?
have to dominate the time of possession, and they have to keep the 49ers on the defensive, meaning they have to maintain the lead and put pressure on the 49ers when they have the lead, for the 49ers to get out of their rhythm, to get out of their comfort zone, and have to do things they're really not that good at doing.
You're really tempting me, aren't you? You're really tempting me to get into a conversation about the Niners quarterback, because that sounds like to put a pressure on the Niners quarterback. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, you try to dress it up and gloss it.
Get them off schedule. Get them to wear those flea flickers and double reverses and little quick throws across the middle to the tight end. Just not enough time for all that, man. You need to do it right now. You need to do it right now.
So get up by a lead, and you think that's going to put pressure on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. That's what it sounds like to me.
I did not mention anyone specifically by name. I just
you didn't, but the formula you gave was was what it might take to beat the Niners with Brock Purdy at quarterback. Is that
you're asking what would it take to beat the 49ers? That's what I said.
Can Pacheco can he by going with the formula you just laid out, score early, put pressure on the Niners defense? Does that count on Pacheco being the MVP?
Not the MVP, but I do believe he's going to get over 100 yards.
Oh, you got to
on
get
the ground.
You got to hit. Okay, we're gonna get to some prop bets later on that might detail some of this stuff a little bit better. So I have Mahomes got to go off. Mahomes have to go off for like 350, 3 touchdowns. If he did 350, 3 touchdowns, that might be a double-digit win. If he did that,
he doesn't have to do all that for the Chiefs to win.
I'm saying if he did that, that might be a double-digit win.
Well, if he did that, it's a wrap. They had no chance of winning.
The Chiefs run through the 49ers defense. Like we saw, who was that? How am I having a brain fart? Number 33 for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, Aaron Jones ran him over.
If Pacheco, I don't think Pacheco's that good.
Doesn't have to be that good. The 49ers run defense isn't that good.
If Pacheco came out having that type of performance, that could cause a lot of problems for the Niners. If Gibbs and Montgomery had a big day into that fumble by Gibbs in the third quarter, they don't get that fumble. That's a challenge for those guys too. So you're right. If Pacheco is able to run the ball, I mean, we know he's going to run hard. If he's able to hold on to the ball and continue his production, and they get your guy Edwards-Helaire, if he get any action, he get any run. If Edwards-Helaire come in the game running the ball, and they have some success with him running the ball, it's going to be a long day for the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
And then their defense, if they can force the quarterback into a couple turnovers, they get a couple turnovers, that might really put the Niners to bed on Sunday. So those are a few factors we given that how the Niners can win, or excuse me, how the Chiefs can win. How can the Niners win? How can the Niners beat the Chiefs?
Oh man, that dominant pass rush, staying on schedule with that running game with Christian McCaffrey, and choose to get fullback, and sweeps to Deebo Samuel, crossing routes to Ayuk, Kittle over the top. I mean, there's plenty of ways the 49ers can win.
And all of that, you don't mention the quarterback one time. The quarterback's just a non-factor.
Trent Williams at left tackle. I mean, just really,
So the quarterback is a non-factor.
Chris Jones just can't get around him. I mean, that's really how the game's going to be won, in the trenches.
Chris Jones is going to be all over the field. So not one time did I hear you mention the quarterback of the 49ers doing anything to allow the 49ers to win. Is that your stance?
Well, I mean, he has to manage the game. I mean, he has to run that offense. I mean, he has to make sure all those things are clicking in the right, time frame, play action, stepping back, finding open receivers, calling
so there is some value.
Line of scrimmage, to run, for the running game. He has to do those kind of things for sure.
So there is some value to quarterback play for the 49ers.
There's a lot of value to game managing.
Okay. I mean, you would know a game manager. All those years you had Russell, you were looking at Russell manage your offense. You would know what a game manager looks like, right?
I mean, went 2 Super Bowls, won 1. So,
I mean, well, then Purdy's got half that done in 2 years, right?
No, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's been he's his first Super Bowl appearance. So sure.
So if Purdy were to win, this is gonna shut you up here. If Purdy was to win the Super Bowl, he becomes one of 3 quarterbacks to win it in his first 2 years. Russell being the other one of the other ones, right? Would that shut you up about Brock Purdy? Would I get you some Brock Purdy praise, or then you?
We're getting a little over our skis right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch.
We're over our skis. The guy's playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Watch the Super Bowl and see what happens. Okay.
See what I'm saying? Put some respect on his name. And there's an awesome article on Voice of the Fans.
Yeah, right now he's in that Ben Roethlisberger stratosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Put some respect on that name, fans. Check out the article written by some dude on the voiceofthefans.org. Really explains why Cleveland should be given more respect.
It is, and fans, it is tremendously in depth. It lathers all over that San Francisco 49er quarterback. You should read it.
But it still didn't get through to you. You think that dude was talking all nonsense the way you sound? Because it didn't crack your surface over there. Nothing to say, huh? That's terrible. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland. Well, I do know what's going on in Cleveland. It's not my position to put it on the airways, but Cleveland is not taking the situation very lightly. He's been hating on YouTube all day. And we're gonna get into the conversation of him hating on Kawhi later on. But this guy is just not in a loving spirit anymore, Cleveland. It's Valentine's Day next week. Valentine's Day is next week, Cleveland. I sure hope, man, you warm up to the lady a little bit and show her a little love than what you've been showing the guys in the sports world here recently. I sure maybe you're saving that for your lady. Maybe that's the situation. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, maybe that's a better place to display that soft and cuddly side, huh? Is that what's going on, Cleveland?
No, I don't think so. I'm just understanding the gravity of the situation and the direction that you're trying to go. I'm just not, I don't believe in all that. So
okay, so explain to me then how the Niners can beat the Chiefs.
I just explained that. They can stay on schedule offensively. They can run the ball effectively. They can play great defense. They can rush the passer. They can do all kinds of motion sweeps to Deebo Samuel. They can throw over the top to Kittle. They can run juice check and block. Brent Williams can, hold down the left side of the offensive line. Why do you ask me the same question over and over again?
Because we're looking for a more in-depth answer. There's something you're avoiding.
Run those slants, and sometimes if you run the ball effectively, the play action just opens all that up, man. He could be wide open, and one of those Chiefs corners can slip up, and he can catch a big touchdown. Kyle Shanahan can, continue to draw up just masterful plays, man.
Cleveland. Brock Purdy needs to play well for these guys to win. He needs to play his efficient game. He led the league in passer rating this season. As he has an effective passing rating on Sunday, the Niners can win this game. And you're right. They need to involve Kittles, Ayuk, Deebo Samuels. I think the major factor in there outside of Brock Purdy is going to be Christian Jackson McCaffrey. Last week against the Baltimore Ravens, for whatever reason, the Ravens decide to match up. Their running backs, the Ravens running back ran the ball 6 times in that game. They decided to air it out with the MVP Lamar Jackson, have him have an air show against Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback the NFL has seen, which made no sense. That was absolute preposterous. I'm guessing that Kyle Shanahan saw that game plan last week, how that game plan played out. I'm guessing that Kyle Shanahan remembers that situation when he was offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, and they were up 28-3, and they lost the game. Why did they lose the game, Cleveland?
Stop running the ball and lost time of possession.
Ding,
and came
ding,
up
ding,
against
ding,
a team with
ding,
Tom Brady at quarterback.
No, they didn't have nothing to do with who the quarterback was because they did not run the ball when they were up. Run the damn ball. Like the Baltimore Ravens didn't run the ball last week against the Chiefs. The Atlanta Falcons didn't run the ball against the New England Patriots. I'm guessing Kyle Shanahan knows that he needs to run the ball against these Kansas City Chiefs. Christian Jackson McCaffrey needs to be the MVP of this game. Only the second running back to win the MVP since who, Cleveland? Or he'd be not the second quarterback, or running back. He'd be the second quarterback, running back to win the Super Bowl MVP since who? Cleveland?
I would have thought he would have been the third. I thought Marcus Allen won it, and I thought Timmy
No,
Smith.
well, I was just saying since. Not saying overall.
Timmy Smith.
No. Did Timmy Smith win the Super Bowl? Win the MVP? Yeah. 200 plus yards?
Sure did.
That's not the wrong guy. There's somebody else, Cleveland. Who is the NFL leader in playoff rushing yards, Cleveland?
The NFL leader in playoff rushing yards, that's Emmitt Smith.
No. Wrong. Average yards per game.
Well, average yards per game, that would be Terrell Davis.
That's who won the MVP.
Okay. I don't think he played in enough playoff games to actually have the record for most rushing yards in the playoffs.
Man, you see what I'm talking about? You see how he's trying to hate on you see
I mean, he doesn't have that record, right? He doesn't have the most rushing yards in the history
average
of
yards per game. Excuse me if I misspoke.
Average yards per game. Okay, cool.
Average yards per game.
That's Terrell Davis. Yeah.
It's not even close, people. It's not even close. Shame on you. Shame on you. That's. I mean, what do you know? What is the yardage? Do you know what the yardage is?
I think I believe you go over this every year. I think it's like 167 yards a game.
It's close. It's only 142. But there's nobody there's nobody close. Okay, the next guy is 110. Yeah. All right. So
yeah, and he played in how many playoff games?
He got back-to-back Super Bowl wins. That's what he has.
Oh, so
not
answering my question.
He has back-to-back Super Bowl wins.
So not answering my question. Okay.
So I think McCaffrey needs to be. I mean, Brock could go off, obviously, but I expect Brock to go off for over 300 yards. I don't expect him to throw over 300 yards in this game. And that's not the formula for them to win. I think the formula for them to win is run the ball. And with Christian Jackson McCaffrey, needs to have that 140 yards in the Super Bowl. That's what he needs to have for the Niners to win. And the Niners need the game plan, guys. I mentioned this last week for the Ravens to win. Run the ball, stop the run, period. It stops right there. Run the ball, stop the run. For whatever reason, the Ravens got away and didn't run the ball. For whatever reason, they decided not to run the ball. And it's just it's beyond me. Why they had the league's leading rushing attack all season long. You get to the championship game and you stop running the ball. It just was buffoonery. So that's my prediction to win the game, Cleveland. Or it's not my prediction. That's my philosophy on how the Niners could win the game.
And how the Niners win the Super Bowl, sure.
Cleveland, let's look at some prop bets. You know, just for smiles and grins. Let's look at some prop bets to see Super Bowl prop bets. See where your head's at. Give the fans. You guys can take some of these prop bets, man, and use them with your buddies. Kind of see who comes out victorious on some of these prop bets. So these are some pretty interesting prop bets, wouldn't you think, Cleveland? Wouldn't you say?
Some other.
Okay, so let me pull this up. We got some prop bets coming up for you guys as soon as I can get my screen right. Window. Here we go. Can you see what I'm saying? Here we go. Prop bets. All right, Cleveland. So I highlighted the ones we agreed on. The ones that are not highlighted are the ones we didn't agree on. So how long will national anthem be in seconds? Over 90.5? That they always go over. That's an easy one. Over. Who the results of the coin flip? Heads or tails? I got heads. Will the opening kickoff be a touchback? More than likely, yes. The way they do the game today. What would be the result of the opening drive? Now, my philosophy is both of these teams is kind of scripted their plays, right? They got the best stuff. They're coming up, open up the game with their best stuff. So opening their game with the best stuff, I say somebody's gonna get in the end zone real quick. Cleveland has it as a punt. What would be the first turnover of the game? Fumble, interception, turnover on downs. I have an interception. Somebody's gonna screw up and throw a pick. What would be the first score of the game? Again, and here's my philosophy, fans, Cleveland. I think the Kansas City is going to win the toss, and they're going to defer, giving the ball to the Niners. I think the Niners are going to drive down and score a touchdown. They're going to get the first score. I do think it'll be a touchdown, but they're going to get the first score. Who would throw the first passing TD? And I believe that'll be Mahomes with a quick strike. Which team will reach 10 points first? So here, Cleveland, this kind of refutes your formula for the Niners to win the game. I got the Kansas City Chiefs going up by 10, and the Niners having to come back and win and to win this game. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's not what they do well. The last 2 weeks are somewhat of an apparition.
Aberration. It just happened twice in playoff games.
But it's an aberration with an NFL MVP at the helm on the other side. So, yeah, being down by 10 is going to be a whole different thing against this Chiefs team.
It was an aberration against two playoff teams,
the Packers and the Lions. Yes,
and they can't do it against who you're not prepared to. You're not prepared to say dude is the best quarterback to ever play the game, but you want to say what? He can't lose down 10? He can't lose up 10? Is that what you're saying?
Cruise control at that point. Yeah, he's yeah, you're at his mercy, at his will.
Will either team score in the first 2 minutes of the final half or the first half? Excuse me. I think yes. We're gonna see a 2-minute drive. Definitely. Yeah. Again, this is primetime football. How many songs will Usher perform at halftime? I mean, Usher has hits, Cleveland, and I'm not saying this to besmirch Usher at all. But how many hits is he gonna sing for the Super Bowl?
I think he's actually going over on that. I don't know where did I say under? I think he's going over.
I can change it. You want me to change it right here? I'll change it right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Usher. So okay. So here's another point. If he sings 2 verses or a verse to a song, is that a full song? Does that count as a song?
Well, that counts as a song for sure. Yeah.
If he sings 1 verse, if he comes out there, hey, that counts as a verse with him and Lil Jon.
If he goes 15, 20 seconds into it, yeah, that counts.
No, what again? If you hear the beat, the Lil Jon beat, and there's no doubt that he might open up with that beat. If you hear the Lil Jon beat, and he goes, hey, did that count as a beat? Did that count as a song?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. In that case, yes, he's going over. In that case, so it's going to be.
Well, you have an opportunity to change your selection as well. Then,
but well, if you're going to accept that as a song, because he's going to mix it up. In that case,
yeah,
yes,
it's going to be a mix of at least
I mean, he has 13 minutes. He has 13 minutes.
Oh, so yeah, man, that's my prediction. I mean, you can say whatever you want. However you want to say it, but if your criteria is if the song starts out and loops in for 10, 15, and then he switches to something else, yeah, that counts.
He's gonna be at 13 songs then. Possibly. He gonna get you a song a minute. I mean, what? So there's gonna be a lot of R&B in that. There's gonna be a lot of R&B. If that's the case, Cleveland, this is gonna be like Beyonce was for the dudes. This is gonna be Beyonce with dudes and women. But if this is gonna be halftime show for all women. If he's up there and he goes 15 R&B songs, he can only do 5 dance songs.
Hey, look, man, I am not Usher's choreographer in Las Vegas, man. You asked the question, over or under, it's over for me.
Well, I had to change mine.
I don't have the script of songs in the library of Usher Raymond songs. We'll see what happens.
And does Ludacris come out?
Ludacris comes out.
So they're going to do, I mean, they can't do Welcome to Atlanta. Not in Vegas.
That's not an Usher song. They're going to do, yeah.
Ludacris ain't on that, is he?
He is.
I mean, that song, if they wanted to, that song could be half the halftime show. If they wanted it to be, that could be halftime show.
We'll see how it all transpires, man. But Luda's going to come out, yeah.
Okay. How many? Real quick, what was your favorite halftime show?
You know, I really honestly liked the Bruno Mars when he did it at the Seahawks.
Bruno Mars wasn't bad.
Broncos one, man. You know, the Prince one is kind of a little overdone because but I'm a big Prince fan, so I've seen him.
Wait. Prince was doing it, just singing and dancing in the rain.
I know, but I've seen him live so many times that it didn't really compare to his show. So I was like, that was cool.
I haven't seen Prince live, man.
Oh yeah, I've seen Prince live like 5 times. So it's like,
check it out. Prince went live at the Forum in LA in Inglewood, Cleveland. 30 nights. Prince is gonna be at the Forum 30 nights. The Forum was half a mile from my house. I'll go next week. I'll catch him next week. Prince's final 3 days of his 30-night show. I'm like, damn. I can't make it tonight. I missed the whole 30 days, man. I didn't see Prince one time. That's one dude. Not only do I not regret, I would have liked to see Michael too. But Michael wasn't playing 30 straight nights down the street from my house, man. That's what I regretted not going to that.
That is a tragic story.
I regret not going to that. I don't know how. I don't know how I missed it, bro. To be honest with you, 30 nights went on by and I didn't go to Prince one time. Oh my goodness. I do regret that. I regret that very deeply. But so Prince was good. You say Bruno Mars, the Janet and your boy Justin.
Justin. I mean, there's so much made about the thing that I don't really remember the show that distinctly. I don't remember anything that was just amazing.
Cool. Justin is pretty dope on his own. But then Janet came out, and they had to little hit together. That was a dope show. So fans, what was your best halftime show? Hit us up in the chat. Let us know, what was your best halftime show, fans? The best Super Bowl halftime show. What was your best? Beyonce, Janet, Bruno Mars. Who was the guy running through the mirrors like the Weeknd? Who looked like he was running through the mirrors?
I would give the West Coast
Snoop and Dre. That was my next one. That was my next one. Snoop and Dre. But again, that was with the. I thought they were doing a little too much with bringing Kendrick on, 50 Cent, then Mary J. That was a whole lot, right? That was a whole lot. Man, but yeah, this Usher. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Usher. Kind of to see what Usher puts down. But if he goes through 8+ songs, I mean, you're getting a new song every 90 seconds. Yeah, he's gonna blow that 8 out the water. How many players were attempted pass, Cleveland? Over under 2.5. I go under. Yeah, there ain't nobody else competing fast. Will there be a missed field goal? I say no as well. This is professional football. I say no. No as well. Who will finish? Who will finish with more passing yards? Yeah, Mahomes will. Who will finish with more rushing yards? I got McCaffrey. You got McCaffrey as well. I think that's their formula to win the game. Who will finish with more receiving yards? We both got Ayuk. You got Ayuk, not Kelsey. Kelsey not going to be close.
Well, it'll be close, but I think like it's, it'll just be a big fluke pass. You know how I do.
How many points will be scored? Over 47, under 47. I think it's going to be under 47. Like I think I got 45, 46. You got over? You got a high scoring game? You got a prediction for the score?
Cam, I thought I said the under on that, but I'll take the over. It's fine.
Going off of your stat sheet, do you want to change it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be under, man.
You want to change it?
Yeah, change that under.
What color Gatorade will be poured? I mean, this is always tricky, man. We don't even know what colors they're using. I got red. I mean, I think they're both going to use red. I mean, if it goes Chiefs or Niners, both of them have red in their uniform, so I'm going red. You got orange. Who will win the Super Bowl MVP? You got Mahomes. If the Kansas City Chiefs win, it's gonna likely be Mahomes. But I think this is a chance for Brock Purdy to step up.
And it won't be Brock Purdy, huh? If the 49ers win, it won't be Brock Purdy. It'll be somebody else that will be the MVP of the game.
Christian Jackson McCaffrey, the aforementioned.
Oh, okay.
Special teams player.
Now that makes sense.
Will have to be the MVP.
That makes sense. If the 49ers win, it won't be because of Brock Purdy. Is basically what you're saying right there.
I'm not using those words, sir.
You're using those words exactly because you said other. Yeah. You already said the 49ers was going to win, and you keep talking me death about Brock Purdy, but then when it comes to putting like who's going to win the MVP, you don't want to put his name there.
Because McCaffrey is going to have 40 yards to win.
Because,
McCaffrey is going to have
Because what?
Yeah. Okay. Man, you see how he's
because if they win, it won't be because of Brock Purdy. Is what you're saying right there with other.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Christian McCaffrey is going to have a better game for them to win.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Don't try to put words in my mouth. I said what I said.
You don't have to. You already put other right there. It says other.
You want me to change that? Should I change that?
That's entirely up to you, Cameron.
Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift after the game? I had no. What do you have?
Yeah, I got no. What are we at? Boise State, or we're in college? What's going on here?
I mean,
propose after the game. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't expect that. So I pulled up another list of prop bets for you guys. I highlighted the ones that are kind of repetitive, but I got another list for you, Cleveland, just to extend this list here.
Okay.
First offensive play of the game, run or pass. I got to run. What you say?
That's a run.
Where will there be a score in the first 6 minutes of the game?
No.
No? You did have a punt earlier. Jersey number of the first touchdown score, is that odd or even?
Odd.
Most of the guys are. The only Pacheco, I think, is the even number. I think only Pacheco wears of the guys in skill position. First accepted penalty will be against
Kansas City.
Yeah, we agree there. Will there be a score in the last 2 minutes of the first half?
I think so.
could have. Guess that was a kind of repetitive as well. Will a team score three consecutive times, not including PATs?
No.
It could. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Passing yards, Brock Purdy over under 247.
I think it's gonna go over.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Passing yard from Mahomes on over under 262.
I think it's gonna go under.
Under. Oh, so you got them bludgeoning to death with Pacheco, huh? Rushing yards, Christian McCaffrey over under 90.5.
I'm gonna say under.
I said yes. That should be over. You say under?
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey can't get 90 yards? If he doesn't get 90 yards, they lose. That's a loss for the Niners. Total receiving yards, 70.5 for Travis Kelce.
It's over.
Length of a successful field goal, 47 yards, over under.
Over.
I put yes. Should be over as well. Longest successful field goal, KC or San Fran?
KC.
Longest touchdown in yard, 44.5. Will there be a score longer than that?
Yes. Over.
Who's that? Purdy to Debo?
Yeah, I'm gonna go San Francisco on that. They're gonna need that.
Oh, they're gonna be desperate, you're saying, huh?
I didn't say what their desperation level was gonna be. I just said they're gonna need that.
Total quarterback sacks over or under 4.5.
For which team?
It just in the game. I got under. I don't think it's gonna be. What do you have?
I'll go over that.
So you think there's gonna be 5 sacks in the game? Total turnovers 2.5. Over or under?
Over.
Over. Wow. You think it's gonna be a sloppy game, huh? Number of challenges initiated by head coach. Over under 1.5.
Under.
And will there be a missed extra point? 1 or 2 points? Yeah.
Oh, 1 or 2 point. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you think somebody's gonna go for 2 and not get it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And the other ones is a Gatorade bath and position of the MVP, quarterback or other. You got Mahomes. You got quarterback, huh?
Quarterback. And you have not quarterback, right? You have other, right?
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
As well you should be, Cam.
Because I think for the Niners to win, I think it's going to take McCaffrey has to have a better game than Purdy.
And it won't be because of Brock Purdy's play.
Brock Purdy clearly going to have something to do with it, but
not like in the most valuable player type of context is what you're saying, and that's understandable.
I mean, he's certainly
not what's going to happen.
He certainly can come out and have that type of game. He can have an MVP type of game. He certainly can.
Don't talk to me to death about Brock, man. You say one thing, and then when it comes down to putting the thing on a thing, you don't put the thing on a thing.
Well, you trying your best. You trying your best, ain't you?
You don't put the thing on the thing when it comes to Brock Purdy.
Go read that article, fans. Why Cleveland need to put some respect on his name. I think dude might have been talking to you. Put some respect on his name. VoiceOfTheFans.org, all about Brock Purdy. Why Cleveland should put some respect on his name. Go read that article, fans. I implore you. Cleveland, let's talk about some hoop, man. It looks like your guy Joel Embiid is going to be out several weeks with the meniscus injury. Who benefits from this the most? Is it the Knicks? Is it the Cavaliers? Is it the Bucks who can't seem to get over the hump? Who's benefiting for this slide the most?
The Knicks will benefit the most.
What does it say that Maxey and scored 50 and Bronson scored 40 after being named to the All-Star game? What did that say? What did that say to you?
I was shocked as everything that Maxey went out for that 50. Brunson, he's been carrying that load over there in New York for, a little over a year. So, hopefully at some point they get him like some legitimate help, and maybe they can actually.
They got a boy from college. They got a boy from college on the team. That's not enough. DiVincenzo going off for 26 a night.
Cameron, a week before the playoffs starts, I'm going to have a very extensive article on what it takes to be a champion. And then we'll readdress this conversation. But to answer your question, and just quickly, no, DiVincenzo a help.
He got his boy from college, Jason Hart's on his squad.
Several of his boys from college. Man, it's like a Wildcat reunion every night.
And you're not a fan of it, huh?
I mean, that's great. I'm glad that they were in New York kicking it. I mean, they grew up together and stuff, man. All kinds of stories that go way back to McMahon Hall and stuff. And, that'll be cool, man.
Paulo named to the All-Star team. What's the city think about that?
Oh, love it, man. Oh, nothing but respect, for the Prince of the 206.
So I had this conversation just the other night. I was at the Hawks Clippers game a couple nights ago. I had this conversation with a dude from NBA TV. Kind of don't know his name, but I recognize him. Yeah, we have a lot of conversation every time I see him. And the NBA reporter, and he brought up this. I was talking about, should Atlanta Hawks, a lot of talk is they're going to trade DeJounte Murray, right? And I was thinking, as I mentioned to you and fans on the show, that I thought that person should be
Ice Trae. You think they should trade Ice Trae Young?
Correct. And he didn't laugh at me, but he brought up this proposal. He said, "Would you trade?" I talked about Trae Young. Was he a snub? I asked it. My question was, who's a snub? Who are your all-star snubs? And he's like, well, I can't mention a snub now because some of these guys might get accepted into the all-star game here pretty soon, i.e. the next day. Trae Young and Scottie Barnes got to announce that they're going to be all-star replacements. But he brought up a trade. Would you trade Trae Young for Ja Morant straight up? And I was like, absolutely. If I'm Atlanta, absolutely. I don't know why Memphis would do that, but absolutely, if I was Atlanta,
you don't know why Memphis would do that.
Would do Trae Young for Ja Morant straight up?
Yeah. Well, I can give you 3 reasons that Memphis would do that. Give you 2. Number 1, Ja Morant is a malcontent off the court. It's very difficult to control him, and he's already missed the first 25 games of this season for conduct detrimental to the NBA. Number 2, he's not very big, and his game is predicated on flying through the air, and he's getting older and older by the day. He's already out for the entire season for trying to be Superman at 6'2", flying up against other great big 7-foot people that just knock him to the ground, and he breaks little bones in his wrists and his ankles and his knees, and he's out for long periods of time. Lastly, he doesn't shoot as well as Trae Young.
So all of this hoopla you guys got for Trae Young. Trae Young.
If I am Memphis, I do that trade in a heartbeat.
Would you? I no. So I said if I was Atlanta, absolutely. If I was Memphis, no. He said if Memphis, would you do it? Would you do it for 2 number ones? So apparently that trade was on the table. And again, if I was Atlanta, that's getting done before I couldn't get that done soon enough. That deal done soon enough. I'm at Memphis. I'm not making that move. But Trae Young doesn't, to me, in my opinion, Trae Young doesn't amount to winning. These Hawks,
unlike John Morant, amounts to winning.
The Memphis Grizzlies were number 2 in the Western Conference 2 years ago.
How'd that work out?
They were number 2 in the Western Conference.
Actually,
huh?
It was last year. Actually, how'd that work out?
Yeah, they were number 2 in the conference.
Remember when you had to sit your dude down and put your arm around him and give him the hard?
That's a young team. That team is still growing.
What do you see? Why?
That team is still growing. How long has Trae been in the league?
You just said they were the number 2 seed last year, and how did that work out?
Again, could they get better? They can get better. They still could get better.
Traded for his mentor, Marcus Smart, and where's he at?
That team, with him missing the 25 games for the reasons you mentioned earlier.
And then play 15 incredible games and then be out for the rest of the season.
Again, this season aside, he's been pretty reliable up until last season.
Pretty reliable in what way? Doing what?
Until he was on the court, until last season when he had the bonehead off the court incidents, he been a reliable player for his 3 years in the NBA. Trae Young does not impact winning. Look at the Hawks. The Hawks were.
I thought Trae Young came down and burned down Madison Square Garden almost single-handedly. Have you seen John Morant do anything remotely like that?
Trae Young
has he got his team to the conference finals? Because Trae Young's actually done that.
The Eastern Conference is a lot weaker than the Western Conference. Number 1.
Okay. Now we're going to conference strength. Then, hey man, it sounds cool. You asked me the question. If it was me, yeah, switch that out.
No, I'm not doing it. And I'd even have to consider doing it if Atlanta was sending me 2 number ones too. I'd still be like, what? I still have to consider that. I mean, I still have to consider that.
Yeah, Josh is athletic for 6'2". Does a lot of great things.
What do you think? Trae Young is 6'1". Trae Young doesn't impact winning.
Average attendance a game. I mean,
he doesn't impact winning. They're middle of the conference. They're in the middle of the pack.
You're saying that he doesn't impact winning.
Yeah,
but you're saying that John Morant impacts winning.
The team was the second team in the Western Conference last season.
And where did that get them? It got them absolutely nowhere.
Again, they still have room to grow.
It got you putting your arm around the shoulder of who was it again, Cam?
Desmond Bane.
Desmond Bane, when he said they could do what? They had the potential and capacity to do what? You had to talk him down off the top of the Empire State Building? Like, wait, whoa, dude. You're up here way too high.
Again, I like the confidence that he showed. I like this that he was.
You laughed at his confidence. You actually tried to console him and talk him down off the ledge.
I just had to redirect his confidence.
He had to curb his enthusiasm for what he thought he could actually potentially do in the Western Conference, even with John Moran on his team.
Dude, the Hawks are 22-29.
And what are the Memphis Grizzlies?
Again, their team is not complete. It's not apples for apples.
Look,
right
I'm
now.
not. Come on, man. It's not quite the time. It's not quite the time to go back and forth about hoop talent, man. John Moran is not who you think he is.
Ooh,
I'm so sorry.
Ooh, wow. Okay, all right, Cleveland. All right, Cleveland. Is Klay Thompson who we thought he is?
Man, all those years of rehab looks like they're starting to take their toll on him, man. He's not Caesar anymore, man. He's not just, the rifleman, sharpshooter, marksman.
What should the Warriors try to trade him? I mean, you can't trade Klay, man. You just got to ride this out, right?
Got to ride it out.
You got to ride this out, man. The trade Klay talk is beyond me. TPJ, I don't know why you're going to trade Klay. Who wants Klay right now? He has no market. His stock is falling. You guys just got to ride this out. This is your partnership that you guys want to keep. Trade Draymond and Steph together. You got to ride it out and see what's happening. It looks bad, man. We're Steph came into the league in 2008, so we're like 15 years, 16 years into this right now. And time hasn't been kind to, Klay's has injuries. This is what we see. Like you say, the toll of the injuries has just changed his fortunes, right? You just got to ride it out. Do the Lakers make a trade? As bad as they want to get, as bad as they want DeJounte Murray, he's not going to get them from where they are into the playoffs. Do you think
they make a trade? How, what, when, who? I don't know, but they don't stay pat. They can't stay pat.
At 27-25, I mean,
it may not work. I mean, it may go in the absolute opposite direction, but they just can't roll that team out again after the All-Star break.
Why not? They got 3 wins in a row.
No, that's not happening.
I mean, they got 3 wins in a row.
Wins don't necessarily dictate what you're going to do with your franchise. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks.
What do you mean? Look at the. I don't get it.
They were the second best team in the Eastern Conference and fired their coach. So you can't just say just because they won 3 games in a row that they're not going to make any trades. They're still looking at all of their options. And I think that by the end of the trade deadline, they will have pulled the trigger on something.
Interesting. No confidence in them, huh? They got. Who would you like to see him get? Is there somebody out there you'd like to see him get?
DeMar DeRozan.
I mean, LeBron needs a spacer. DeMar DeRozan isn't really a spacer.
You asked me the question. He's a good mid-range shooter. He's consistent from what he does. That's what we're looking for. There's no catapult throwers out there, man. That are just gonna be, Steph Curry Jr. Klay Thompson is not who he was, so
Well, would you go get Klay and let LeBron, put his little fingers on him? Maybe LeBron takes him to his hyperbaric chamber.
Klay for Gabe Vincent, and he gets to put the 43 back on like his dad. That might be kind of cool.
He gets to come back home. I mean, he grew up a Laker fan.
I wouldn't
let him use his hyperbaric chamber. Maybe Klay can get another couple years out of him.
Maybe so.
The Lakers unveil Kobe statue tomorrow night on 2/8/24. What is your best memory of Mr. Kobe Bryant?
What's my best memory of Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, this conversation not too long ago. But what's your best memory?
My best memory of Kobe Bryant is being down against Sacramento, down 5 in overtime with less than 3 minutes left, and him coming down the court, hitting a three, and cutting that lead back down to 2. And I just watched that dude run down the court, and he just had this look on his face like, we can play this game to the first one to 500, man, and I will still be standing here giving you buckets, and I don't think you will.
Was this a playoff game or just a regular
playoff game? Yeah.
Against the Kings?
Yeah.
The Chris Webber,
Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Vlade.
Oh, this is when they got cheated. This is when the Kings got cheated, when the refs were doing their thing. Donahue was doing his thing.
No.
The series? Oh, that's not the series.
There's no cheating involved.
So that's not the series.
What Kobe did. No. It may have been the series where Ori broke their hearts when he kicked it out to him, when they had it all right in front of them, and just
the little BS tip. Well, Shaq couldn't get the rebound. He just no. Was that who tipped it out there? Some scrub.
Kobe kicked it out to him.
I think that was the series that they cheated. Donahue was in Phil's pocket.
That's my favorite Kobe moment. What is your favorite Kobe moment, Cam?
Oh, look how quickly you tried to change the subject, fans. You guys see that? You see that? I touched a nerve right there. I touched a nerve when I asked about Donahue and Phil going out to dinner the night before the game. I touched a nerve there. My favorite Kobe moment, man. It's tough to not even being a Laker fan. It's tough to put it into one specific moment, because I think the best of Kobe, when I think of Kobe, was how he came back after they won the first championship. When he against Portland on that 17 game, the 17-point comeback when they were down 17 to the Trailblazers. I was ready to explode that day in the house with Laker fans. Oh, I was ready to explode that day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. And they came back for the last 5 minutes, man. I just couldn't say anything. Because not only did Scottie Pippen just kind of let the game go, and I mean, Scottie was supposed to be that guy coming from Chicago. He's supposed to be the guy to lock him up. He wasn't doing the job. Drexler couldn't make a bucket.
Drexler wasn't on that squad. That squad had Rasheed Wallace. That squad had Damon Stoudemire. That squad had Brian Grant.
Bimble, what was it? No, who was the boat?
Bonzi Wells was on that squad.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Bonzi Wells.
Derek Anderson was on that squad. That squad had 2 of everything. That squad was as deep as you'll ever see an NBA franchise ever.
Man, I was ready to explode that game. 5 minutes left. When Kobe shook Pippen and drove to the rim and lobbed it up to Shaq. I was saying, yeah, Steve Smith and that left. Yeah, you're right. There you go. Steve's I've been saying, if Kobe would pass the ball, draw attention, and kick it to Shaq like that, those two were unstoppable. And he finally did it to break the Blazers back. That memory, just because I was in the house with all Laker fans. I had just moved to LA. I think that was the first playoffs I was in LA. And again, I just couldn't convert to becoming a Laker fan. So I'm rooting against them. I'm rooting for Portland. And that comeback, I mean, I had been saying that was the formula for the Lakers to be who they became, was Kobe to Shaq. And it finally happened. And that's how they won that game. That was a very vivid memory. But being in the house when Kobe hit 13 3-pointers against the Sonics. Like,
it's a big number.
13 of them. 13 of them. And of course, I was all sonicked out. I was in the nosebleeds and yelling at George Karl, "Move up, move up!"
Oh yeah, you yelling at George Karl to make an adjustment in game? Yeah, that's not happening, bro.
I mean,
You're
I
wasting your breath.
think he had Ray Allen playing at the elbow. Dog, he's shooting 3-pointers. Move up. Come out on him. He's hot. After 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, George. Yeah, George doesn't make adjustments like that. It's unfortunate.
Man, and just Kobe just kept down there, wop wop, and it was in the same spot. It was on the right wing. Kobe just came up, wop wop, wop wop. Like, okay, if you guys aren't gonna come out, I'm gonna keep pulling them. And he hit 13 of them, bro. That probably was that problem. The way they beat the Portland Trailblazers, that was like demoralizing just because of the situation. I'll never forget the situation. And then of course everybody was on my head after that. But being at the game and just watching them cash in threes, just like, come on, Lord. Like, and yeah. So that was probably my favorite Kobe. And then after, obviously, getting a chance to interview him, that was kind of like surreal, especially what happened 2 weeks later.
Didn't realize it was so soon between the interview and his death.
It was like literally, it was probably 10 days. 10 days. It was probably 10 days. It was less than 2 weeks. It was probably like 10 days. That makes that whole day just like you don't know what's gonna happen, right? You don't know what happened. In fact, I tell you another story, a real quick story, unrelated to Kobe, but I went to the college game. What was it? It was the Elite Eight. Rui Hachimura. Gonzaga played. Gonzaga played the best player of that series, Elite Eight series. He got drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Gosh, it was a guy from Texas Tech. He had a smooth game, but he was Cover. Anthony Cover? Somebody Cover. He had a real smooth game. Nonetheless, I'm just trying to recall who played in that series, that Elite Eight series college game. Obviously, it was a Friday and then a Sunday, or was it Thursday, Saturday? But Nipsey Hussle was at the Saturday game. Nipsey Hussle and Patrick Mahomes was at the Texas Tech game. Nipsey was 5 rows behind me. And then that was like the next week. That was like 3 days later. 3 or 4 days later. I was like, man, if I'd have known that, I would have been trying to get me an interview with Nipsey. But I'm like, I ain't gonna bother you, dog. We at that college game, I ain't gonna bother him. I see him around. But then just a few days later, that was literally a few days later. That was kind of eerie too. But yeah, Kobe's best memory is probably them 3-pointers that he would hit the Sonics over the head with. So that's going to be another reason I hate. I mean, Minnesota, California, just another event to be at. It's going to be a historic event, memorable event. When he passed, bro, outside I know I didn't take you to Staples when we were there. Have you been to Staples?
Yeah.
Outside Staples, you see the not the statues, but the LA Live. They had all the open court and all the restaurants there. You seen all that? Like, bro, they had all of that was filled with basketballs, T-shirts, shoes, cards, flowers, wreaths. After he passed, like everybody came down there and just donated a bunch of stuff, jerseys. Like they just left a bunch of Kobe memorabilia out there, just all around. It was so much stuff, bro. They locked it up. They had guards there at night, like for a week. I went down there, so that happened on Sunday. It happened on Sunday night. I thought they postponed the Laker Clippers game that Tuesday, which I still think they should have played that game. that Tuesday night. It happened Sunday. The Laker Clipper game was scheduled for Tuesday night. They postponed that game. I thought they should have played that game because, like, that impacted the whole city, like the whole city. Everybody you saw from grandmothers to housewives knew who Kobe Bryant was. We're like weeping and, oh, did you hear? Oh, how so sad. Like that impacted the whole city. And the whole city came down there for all week. It was like a memorial site down there right outside Staples Center. Again, to the point where they had to put barricades up and block it off. But they had I went down there. It was just wild. It was too wild. I went down there Thursday because the Clippers had a game Thursday. And again, it happened Sunday. Thursday night, there's still people out there donating more stuff, bringing stuff down there. I got a video of some of the stuff, but like, they should have played that game and let the whole city cry. Like they postponed that game. The Lakers didn't play to that next Sunday, so that left a week that the city didn't cry, didn't mourn, didn't get a chance to let that out. That lingered on for a week. You follow what I'm saying? Where if they played that game, that Tuesday night, like the city would have got it all out then that Tuesday. However, they let that linger on. Oh, we got to have a memorial. Oh, we got to do it right. I think Usher performed at the first game. I want to say that first Laker game. Yes, I in my opinion, I thought they should have played that game. However, they let that linger on. It lingered for a week. That memorial stayed up there another 2 weeks before they packaged it up and sent it to his estate, to the Mamba house. But I think they legitimately should have played that game Tuesday night just to let the city kind of cry and breathe. Instead, they let it linger on too long, in my opinion. So it's going to be, I say all that to say, it's going to be an emotional day tomorrow night when they unveil his statue. I think you can probably see it on TNT. But yeah, that was Kobe Bryant, man. Kobe Bryant gone way too soon. Want to ask you about these Clippers, man. They won 9 in their last 10 games. They went 6-1 or 6-1 on the road trip, on the Grammy trip. 29 of 36 since acquiring the system. Right now they're down third quarter, 5 minutes to go, 64-58. And here goes Kawhi with the steal and the dunk. Oh, to bring him within 4 points. Now, what's your problem with the claw, man? What's your problem with the claw? Let the people know. I got a chance to interview the Claw over the weekend, fans. You could check out the interview, Voice of the Fans on YouTube. Check out the interview. Got a chance to interview the Claw post game. I thought I asked Kawhi some good questions. Kawhi,
I thought you did too, Cam, and he answered them very eloquently and very politely and on time and all of that. I think he may have even looked up and actually looked into the camera when you were asking him the question. All that I said is that he's much more inclined to answer questions when they're not about injuries and losses than anything else.
I mean, but he's been healthy and they've been on a hellacious win streak. Why are you talking about wins? Why are you talking about losses and injuries?
Right.
Why are you
that's what I'm saying. When
you're being a pessimist, though. You're being a pessimist.
Things are going well. He's much more.
Did you hear? They're on a 20.
They're doing great. They're playing as one. They're playing for each other. They're talking about how the team chemistry is great. It's better than it's ever been, and that's great.
I don't understand what the hate is all about.
There's no hate.
You want to focus on losses and injuries when the guy has played every game this season.
What I said is he's much more inclined to give interviews when you're not talking about losses and injuries.
So why are you talking about losses and injuries when their team is
29? Most players will give you an interview and give you a good interview, regardless of what the situation is. It doesn't have to be, pristine for you to respond to the person that's asking you the questions.
So Zubac, another dude who's been hurt, Zoo jinxed himself when I was in Memphis a couple weeks ago, talking about I don't miss games, I don't miss games, and then he was out for 2 weeks. He told me he was bored as hell. But I got a chance to talk to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy who was injured, didn't play. Did he have a problem talking?
No, he talks all the time. He's a professional. He's a pro. It doesn't matter what the subject or the content is or what's going on with him. He's going to give you a good interview either way.
Fans, I don't understand what the hate is. This man is obviously on a 50-90 pace, and I asked him about this pace that he's on. Does he care? He's like, yeah. I want to do good every time I go out there, but I don't play for numbers.
He didn't say that.
What did he say?
He said he understands it. It's significant to him, but I'm not all about the numbers. I'm just out there trying to blah blah blah. Whatever the template says when you ask those kind of questions, man. He answered straight out the template.
Fans, this guy is something else, man. This guy is nothing but hate. This is just genuine hate that you're seeing on that right side of the screen right now. Genuine hate from Cleveland right now, and he acts like the funny thing is he acts like there's no malice in his heart right now.
There's no malice in my heart.
But you sitting there smiling because you know it's hate.
Because I know the second round of the Western Conference is coming, and it's all just talk until we get to the second round.
See? So basically, the Clippers are at the top of the division. I think it's Clippers, Minnesota,
Denver, Phoenix.
Not Phoenix. No, they're four of them. Who am I missing? The Clippers, Minnesota, Denver. There's one more team tied for number one in the Western Conference. And who do you? My question is
Oklahoma City Thunder with Shea and Chet.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Who do you have more faith in? Who do you have more faith in being finished in the season at the top of the division?
I have more faith in the Timberwolves because I think they take it more serious than everyone else.
Ain't this nothing? So Oklahoma City Thunder, Clippers, Thunder, Timberwolves, and Nuggets, and you're going to tell me you have more faith in the Minnesota Timberwolves to finish the top of the division? Fans, you guys see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? That explains the hate right there. You have more faith in these guys to finish the top of the West than the Los Angeles Clippers and the Oklahoma Thunder and the defending champs. Boy, where's my sound? You sound like a buffoon. You sound like a buffoon right now. You sound like a buffoon, Cleveland. Come on, bro. I mean, I can't believe you would go there, actually. I'm ashamed. Cleveland, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You actually should be ashamed of yourself, Cleveland.
Ready to be an e-commerce
pilot. May I grab a 45-second break and then I will come back and explain exactly what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, take 45.
Take 45. And I'm explaining to you exactly why the Minnesota team.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is
Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy. I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm standing there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about like this. Promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So The manager works for the fighter. The fighter
Work for the promoter. Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, is Paul number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your team's team.
30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights. Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about this upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
You know, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show voice of the fan,
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve.
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
It is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all.
You want to explain to the people, man? You want to explain to them this hate, man?
Absolutely. Okay. So fans, let me explain this. And it will get more in depth as we get a little bit further into the season and once we get closer to the playoffs. And
So what? Because your opinion is going to change?
the epic article that I'm about to write about what it takes to be a champion. The Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets are not concerned about the number 1 seed. It doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't validate anything to them. It doesn't give them any more confidence. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder mean something to them. It's almost like a false sense of security for them. So I think that they will be trying harder to get to that number 1 seed. Once the Clippers and the Nuggets kind of lock it in, maybe it's 2-3 or whatever it is, they're going to start to shut it down, man, because they realize that there's a bigger thing at stake here than the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Because eventually it'll just get to the second round. And you have to play them anyways. So it's not nearly as important to them. It doesn't validate anything that they're trying to accomplish. We're in the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just like Carl Anthony Towns won the 3-point contest, it meant something to him. It's kind of
now you comparing Anthony Towns.
What's that?
Now you're comparing the Clippers to Karl Anthony Towns?
No, what I'm saying is like those type of accomplishments, like winning the 3-point contest, like being the biggest, the biggest player to ever win the 3-point contest means something. Like those type of accomplishments mean something to teams that have not accomplished anything. Teams that have aspirations of winning an NBA title, they realize that the number 1 seed is not that particularly important. This isn't football. This isn't baseball. Eventually you'll just get to the second round and have to play whoever you were going to have to play anyways.
Shame. Fans, let's listen to an NBA Hall of Famer talk, okay, about what means
Pioneer. Bluehost has step-by-step WordPress onboarding to make creating and running a great
Can you hear this, Cleveland? Can you see this?
I just see Sweet Dreams. I don't see the Dominique yet.
Dominique Wilkins here, legendary dunker in the NBA. We improved the NBA dunk contest.
Oh, man, that's a great question. I really don't know, man. I mean, the dunk contest has to have star power. You have to have star power when you give one missed dunk. That's it.
That's it? Just one?
Miss. And then you grade it from there. But if a guy did the same dunk after 8 misses, why would you give him a 50? That makes no sense. So it's just little things like that. But the dunk contest needs star power. The last group of guys that brought it back was Levine and Gordon.
Right.
Outstanding.
Right.
Outstanding. So that's what's going to take. And it takes a really commitment to want to be there for the fans.
Is there anything we can do to get the stars back in the game? Any enticement?
I don't think so. There's a ton of money out there that guys making, so you're not going to entice them with money. It's just about the love for it. Just having the love for it and wanting to compete, show the fans your creativity.
There you go, fans. Be sure to subscribe to the Voice of the Fans on YouTube, where you get these videos that we're talking about and that we're referring to. There you see I got a chance to chop it up with the legendary Dominique Wilkins and get his feedback. Do you agree with him? Let's give a shout out to Jaylen Brown, actually, at the Celtics for joining the dunk contest this year with Matt McClune. And there's a couple other guys. Jaime Jaquez is in the dunk contest. I mean, somebody else. But what do you think about what he had to say?
Man, the human highlight film. No true words have ever been spoken, man. I was listening to that interview. I'm still upset about he got robbed in '88, man, with that windmill dunk from the baseline. That was the most ridiculous dunk at the time I had ever seen, man. And didn't win the slam dunk contest in Chicago against Jordan.
It was in Chicago.
In Chicago against Jordan. Go figure. But no, he's right. The top dunkers don't dunk. And they don't have any motivation to do so. And so you kind of left for a lot of ancillary players. Some of them have tremendous athletic ability. The Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine dunk contests, excuse me, are absolutely legendary. I think, probably top 2 or 3 that I've ever seen. So that's a kind of an unrealistic expectation to have that level of dunking in the dunk contest. I think, more kind of like, when Nate was winning them, a few, kind of players like that. I just don't think that we're going to see the best, most athletic players participating in the slam dunk contest.
Again, shout out to Jaylen Brown for throwing his name in the hat and kind of being a former All-Star, or an All-Star to the latest All-Star, I think, to get into the contest. Jaylen Brown, Matt McClung, who's else in it? I guess those are the 2 main names in it. Like I said, Jaime Jaquez Jr., some other dude. But wholeheartedly with Dominique, I'm glad he shared his thoughts on it. I'm glad I was excited to get his feedback on it. I'm glad he was willing to share his feedback on it, because I agree you can't entice them. I mean, they make too much money. Winner take all would be a good enticement. I think that's one way to. That might be one.
But then you're just hyping up a slam dunk contest. I mean, it's like, and you have to do all that just to get people to come in and make it entertaining. That's kind of weird.
I mean, clearly the guys ain't doing it. I mean, the guys ain't stepping up on his own.
Okay, the guys ain't doing it. I mean, that's
there has to be some enticement.
$50 million, winner take all to participate in the slam dunk contest. It's like,
Sprite got enough money. Sprite got enough money. I mean, you can't say.
And even if you did that, who would you have in it? If you did that, who would you have in it that wasn't going to be in it before?
I mean, Anthony Edwards needs to be in the dunk contest. Anthony Edwards needs to be in the dunk contest. Obviously, if Ja was playing and he was eligible, Ja needs to be in the dunk contest. I mean, that's who the NBA. That's who people want to see in the dunk contest. Your guy, who your guy needs to be in the dunk contest, Malik Monk. Tremendous in-game dunker. He needs to be in the dunk contest. Like those guys in the 3, 4, 5 year range in the league, those are the guys who need to be in the dunk contest, the young guys. I don't know why cats don't want to do it just for the name recognition alone. Anthony Edwards is already there. I can understand why he doesn't want to do it specifically. But those guys in that age bracket, they should want to do it. So again, shout out to Jaylen Brown for being an all-star who's actually going to be in the dunk contest. Scotty Barnes is the guy who should be in the dunk contest. I'd say Paulo, but Paulo's too big to for his dunks to look eloquent. You know what I'm saying? But those guys in that 3-4 year range, they need to be in the dunk contest, in my opinion. But shout out to the Human Highlight Film for sharing his thoughts, sharing his voice. Fans, what do you guys think about how can they improve the dunk contest? Share your thoughts on it as well. Cleveland, let's jump into this segment, This Week in History. February 5th, 1958, Clifton Wharton was the first black foreign service officer in the U.S. Department of State. February 5th, 1963, Ku Klux Klan member Brian Della Beckwith is convicted of 1963 murder of civil rights leader Medgar Evers. Mississippi Burning? Not Mississippi. Secrets of Mississippi, I think, is the movie that depicts this that storyline. 2/7/1974, Caribbean nation of Grenada becomes independent from United Kingdom. February 8th, 1944. Harry McAlpin was the first African American journalist admitted to the White House press conference. February 9th, 1995, Bernard Harris became first African American to walk in space. Did you ever dream of being an astronaut, man? Where were you when what was the spaceship shuttle challenge? Like, I remember I remember they rolled that in. I was in the 3rd grade, I think, when the challenges blew up. Like, the science teacher made a big deal of it, rolled the TV. Huh?
That's the 8th grade.
That was the 8th grade? Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Okay. The president got shot. Reagan got shot in the 3rd grade. Yeah, I think I was the 7th or 8th grade. When they rolled, the science teacher was so excited about that space shuttle launch. He brought the TV in there. That thing blew up. He shut that TV off quick and rolled the TV right out there. I was like, wow. But yeah, space shuttle, man, dude, that was a pretty impressive, Mr. Bernard Harris. And February 6, 1970, NBA expanded. February 6, 1970, the NBA expanded to 18 games for the 70-71 season. New teams added were Buffalo, Cleveland, Houston, and Portland. Cleveland, February 7th, 1985, Sports Illustrated released its annual swimsuit edition. It was the largest regular edition of the magazine's history, 218 pages. You heard about the recent Sports Illustrated going out of business, letting a lot of people go, journalists and photographers and the like. Kind of scary, man. I'm in school down here to get my master's degree in journalism, and these people is firing people. These establishment, like Sports Illustrated was an establishment, right? They letting people go. Do you have a favorite SI cover from over the years?
I don't. There have been so many iconic ones, and I watched that ESPN special with I forgot the photographer's name, and they were kind of going over some of the shots that he was able to capture and just how he was able to capture them, and the timing and the space, and how Jordan was like one of the people that, or he was like one of the few people that Jordan would like come and see and like covet his photographs. So it was I don't have a particular one, no.
Yeah, no, we didn't go home after the challenge. That was like in the middle of the day. That was like after lunch. They didn't send us home after that. Swimsuit, yeah. I mean, we all was
I
rushing.
mean, they certainly had some some iconic one of those. Like obviously the Kathy Ireland was big when I was a kid. The Tyra Banks was big. That kind of stuff. So yeah, there's clearly some of those, but there's just been so many. It's hard to nail down just one.
Yeah, the ones that like you're right. I mean, it was every month since 1985.
Every week.
Before then. The Dream Team, I think the ones that really stand out to me, Magic, Michael, Scotty, Bird, like that one with the camera over top of him, like that one really stood out. When Jordan retired and nobody knew, and they just had a question of him walking off the court, why? Like that was another one. But Randall Cunningham, like nobody knew, or not nobody knew. The NFL didn't know how to cover Randall Cunningham. If you remember, I mean, Randall could throw. He was elusive. And he was not. He had a good arm. He wasn't. Lamar Jackson, who could, came in the league running, was just explosive. Randall could pass the ball. Randall could throw the ball.
He could throw it deep, and he had some pretty good receivers over there. He had Mike Quick, I think, young Chris Carter. So yeah,
Barnett, young Chris Carter later on, and their rival, I think he got a lot of notoriety because he played against Lawrence Taylor and that vaulted Giants defense and was able to do some things, and so you couldn't just poo-poo what Cunningham was doing because everybody had trouble with the Giants, right? But Cunningham was out here making it happen. So Randall, they had Randall the weapon. I remember that. Too hard to handle Randall was that mantra. So that was one of the ones that impressed me the most. Preview Moses in the Sixer uniform. Yeah,
I was
that is big too. Yeah, good looking out, Bootilla. The Dream Team. I thought the Dream Team probably was the most iconic, just because that team, like that was unbelievable. Like that summer in '92. Like obviously, life was a little different then because you couldn't stream everything right, and you didn't have. Like now we can look up and see, okay, the game's coming on ESPN or it's coming on TNT Thursday at 8:00. Like I didn't know when they were playing, but when you heard that they were going to be playing, like that was appointment viewing, right? To see that Dream Team play, like that was appointment viewing, because we had the Redeem Team, right? We had the Dream Team.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I also, I was a big boxing fan when I was younger because boxing was, much more glamorous back then. So we had a lot of iconic covers with like Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler and
some good ones. Tyson,
even Iron Mike, and Ali, So those stick out as well quite a bit.
I bet that was huge as a Cubs fan.
That was huge,
yeah. That was. Went to a Cubs game, Bootzilla. Went to a Cubs game. I think I was a couple rows behind where your guy Bartman sat. I was a couple rows. I was right there in that section, just a couple rows behind where Bartman sat, and that was foul language. And we was at a day game. And I had to ask, but that was like foul language to the Chicagoans at the game. I was like, I don't know. This is my first and last time at the stadium. But that's crazy how that, and that stadium is weird, man. That stadium. Okay, you go to Soto, right, for the Mariners game, right? And if you're driving to the Mariners game, obviously you get off the freeway to put you right downtown at the parking lots, right? That Cubs Wrigley Stadium, is it still called Wrigley Field, Bootzilla? that is like in a neighborhood. Like we took the train from downtown, we ran to a bunch of homes. Okay, this is, and they just said this. Well, they didn't have to say it because everybody got Cubs gear on. We just followed the Cubs gear to the game, right? But you passing some houses, and you come to the stop, and you're at the stadium. Like it was like, whoa, what? Those are the apartments with fans standing on top of the building, like those buildings. They're selling those seats. The building is selling those seats to watch the Cub game. They don't got nothing to do with the Cubs. The building is selling those seats to. They don't put bleachers on top of the apartment buildings. Like that was wild. That was wild. Yeah, it's been shit. When did it go? 16, 17 maybe. 16, 17 maybe when I went there. But yeah, Wrigley is I'll give it credit that Wrigley has history. But that was wild that the apartment buildings are actually selling seats. I don't know. I didn't figure all this out. I don't know how you get to them. Do you have to go through somebody's apartment to get up top?
Clearly you have to. I mean,
to get to the rooftop. I mean, I don't know if it's the open breezeway that you just takes you all the way to the top. I don't know how you get to the top, but there's seats up there.
There's not stairs. You just got to climb all the way up to the top of the, whatever.
Man, it was pretty. I mean, it was cool in a sense, but then it's kind of wild. I know the apartment is making dough. I get that to them. But yeah, that was being in that stadium was kind of weird. We was right there near Bartman. Cleveland, as we wrap the show up, man, is it better to be a offensive coordinator at OSU or a head coach at Boston College? What would you rather do?
You'd rather be a head coach.
Okay. Yeah, 80s and 90s.
That Felipe Lopez.
Good call.
One comes to mind as well. When he's like standing in front of the skyline of New York, it's supposed to be the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Felipe was monumental. Did you see that 30 for 30?
I did. That was very deep. I had no idea. Like quite a bit of that stuff actually, and one of those ones that kind of takes you back.
I keep missing the 30 for 30 on the Minister of Defense. I keep coming in at half. I keep missing that one. I want to check that one out. I don't know if you see that.
I haven't seen that yet.
So we looked at the prop bets. Cleveland, Teofimo fighting tomorrow versus Jermaine Ortiz. Also, Keyshawn Davis, young Olympian, fighting tomorrow. Young Olympian from Norfolk fighting tomorrow. You're gonna watch these fights.
Female, if it's on free TV and females fighting, hell yeah, I'm watching that.
You gave Shakur a whole bunch of crap because he was fighting on Thursday night. Now here you go, your boy Teofimo. Why do you think he's fighting on Thursday night?
Well, because it's female, man. You know what I'm saying? They gave him some money to do it, and he's got to knock somebody out and keep proving his point.
Man, that is the biggest clown in boxing. Teofimo Lopez, the biggest clown in boxing.
Ask Lomachenko.
Come on, Lomachenko is old as you and me when he fought him.
Okay. Hadn't lost at that point, right? In 17 years.
Again, is that what you would say he's you would say he's dual loss then, right? If that's the case, you would say he's dual loss, right?
No, he was pound for pound number one in all of boxing.
He was not.
And then after he lost, they still try to keep him in the top 5.
Again, he was dual loss. If he had lost in 17 years,
he was heavy-handed. He'd be knocking cats out. So, yeah, I watch.
You better watch. Make sure you don't get knocked out by Ortiz. The Clippers is down 12 here with 7 minutes to go. 15. That makes 15.
What happened? What? Against who?
I ain't been paying attention right now.
Against who they playing?
The New Orleans Pelicans and your guy Zion.
Oh.
Your guy Zion is on the board.
Had a Brandon Ingram sighting out there, huh? Okay.
I've been a little busy right now. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on in this game here. But yeah, Tiafimo Thursday night. Now all of a sudden Cleveland don't have a problem with Thursday night games. That's amazing. Or Thursday night fights. That's amazing to me. It's amazing how that perspective changes. Zion leading the team with 19 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists though. 19, 11, and 4. Ooh. CJ got 18 points. Excuse me, Zion got 4 rebounds, 11 assists out here with 2 turnovers. So Zion is going to work. That's what this is telling me. As he comes up with the ball in his hand, pulling up, pulling up on. Now he's in the paint. Oh, that's a mismatch. Oh, he got away with one. Oh, he tried to take Zoo gave him a good body, threw his ass out of bounds. That's how you do it, Zoo. That's how you do it, my man, Zoo. Take that crap from Lil Zion. All right, my Clippers got to get back into this. Let's go, Clippers. Best team, in Los Angeles, right?
Excuse me?
They're the best team in Los Angeles, right?
Oh boy, Cam, slow down.
Best basketball team in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Clippers. You know that, right?
Slow down.
What do you mean? The other team not even in the playing tournament.
I don't know what measurement you're using for best team in LA.
Wins. That's what you use. Wins.
Not
W's. W's.
See, I think you're talking about on.
There you go. There you go.
Who has the best record on February the 7th, 2024? Was that the question?
That's where you go.
Oh,
that's
okay.
where you.
So if the question was who has the best record in Los Angeles on 2/7/24, then yes, you're correct. It is the Los Angeles Clippers. They have a better record. They have a better winning percentage right now.
Keith Thurman fighting Tim Zoo here coming up March 30th, and Rolly and Pitbull Cruz fights on the same card. You got a favorite in that one?
Nope.
It looked like Canelo taking an easy way out. He's going to go fight the older brother of Charlo, the older Charlo brother.
Oh, the other Charlo brothers getting in the ring this time? The one that was broke last time?
The one that should have been in the ring the other time.
So he's going to be both the Charlo brothers. Well, that's quite an accomplishment.
I'm not sure that's really quite an accomplishment. I'll be more impressed if they actually sign the deal with Canelo versus Crawford in September. Like that's been rumored about.
Oh, he didn't want none of Bud.
I believe it. I believe it. 5:15 to go. Clippers down 14. Oh, Brandon Ingram. Who is this? Oh, that's CJ. CJ out there with the 3-pointer. CJ going. You got Brandon Ingram going, and you got Zion. I mean, that team's in a lot of trouble right now. CJ got 21. Zion got 19. Ingram got 14. Well, yeah, Clippers, you got come on, Clips. You guys, time is running out, fellas. What's Kawhi doing out here? James Harden got 19. Kawhi got 15. 15, 6 and 4. Where you at, Paul George? And you're 7 points, 3 for 15, 0 for 8 from deep. Ooh, Paul. You're hurting us, P. You hurting us, P. Powell got 16 points. I mean, at least Westbrook is 2 for 7 and 4 points.
Oh yeah.
George is 3
for league MVP. And you're like, at least he's 2 for 7.
I mean, again, he's not a starter. Paul George is
expectation for
far is 315
dramatically over the last 2 years. Goodness gracious, the things he's been through. Wow. When 2 for 7 is acceptable. Walking triple double, man.
That was a few years ago. That was
used to be what could have been.
Oh, look at you. Again,
You okay? You okay with 2 for 7 from Russell Westbrook, man?
He's coming off the bench, dogs. Cut it out. He's coming off the bench, and he got 17 minutes.
2 for 7, 3 points, 8 turnovers. You're okay with that,
man? 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers. Okay. That's not as bad as Paul George 3 for 15, 0 for 8 from deep. Like That's hurting the team.
Clearly, you expect a little bit more from Paul George. Like Russell Westbrook, you okay with that?
Cleveland, you cut it out. You trying to start some stuff again.
You just said he was okay with it.
Again, Cleveland, you trying to start some stuff. Mr. Negativity over there all of a sudden.
I'm just saying he was okay with 2 for 7, 3 turnovers, 17 minutes. He did his best.
He's coming off the bench. He's not a starter.
What does coming off the bench have to do with 2 for 7, 3 turnovers in 17 minutes? That's all right. If you're okay with that, then your level of expectation is not that high. I'm just saying.
Enough for you, man. Enough for you. Cleveland, are you watching more men's or women's college hoop right now?
Men's.
You watching more men's college hoop? I mean, I actually watch your girl Caitlin Clark get down Sunday. Sunday was the Sunday night. I don't watch men's college basketball. I don't like college. Not to the tournament, I guess. On the baseball hot stove, Cleveland Kershaw coming back, Altuve signing deals. I'm hearing all these teams doing stuff. Well, what are your Mariners doing up there?
Nothing.
Just hoping that you guys go 50%, huh?
54%, yeah.
54%.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, SB. Thank you, SB. Cleveland don't know what this is. Talent situation. Long road trip. Hey, mention on that road trip. What was the record? I help you out. The record was 6-1 on that road trip, on the Grammy road trip. Oh, that's a technical foul on Nance. Knock my man Zoo. He going up for the dunk. You pull his arms back. That was a technical. Or that should have been a flagrant. Let's get back into this Clippers. Let's go. Yeah, talk to me about what your Mariners are doing, man. Everybody else doing something around the NBA, in Major League Baseball. What you guys got going on?
Nothing. Traded all of our power hitting. Traded for a second baseman, but he's oft injured. Pitching will still be the same. They'll still have the same problems they had last season. Can't score any runs.
I mean, so did Julio ask out yet? Did he ask for a trade yet?
Way too young to be asking out. Yeah, no.
Way too young. What do you mean? He won 2-time defensive player of the year, Silver Glove. What is it? Silver Glove.
Yeah. He's too young, man. He's 23 years old. They just signed him to a 14-year contract. He's not going anywhere.
So that's your only reason to go to the stadium to see Julio, not Francisco Rodriguez.
Yep.
Eat some chocolate covered ants or chocolate covered grasshoppers.
I don't eat those, so yeah, no.
I mean, what other reason? Oh, you got a good view looking over to Lake Union, and
yeah, I mean, it's a cool atmosphere, but I mean, they're not going to be very good. So they're going to be mediocre at best. So
when have they ever been any good, Cleveland? Have they ever been any good?
Playoffs 2 years ago, they were one game out of making the playoffs last year.
Talking about expectations. One game out of making the playoffs, that's acceptable?
I mean, yeah. They lost to the eventual World Series champions in the last game of the season.
Cut it out. Man, you guys hear this garbage? Fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. On that garbage note, I gotta let you guys go. I know you guys don't want to hear more talk about the Seattle weak Mariners, but I don't want to talk about them. But fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. We got the Super Bowl coming up. No, thank you, Bootsilla. Appreciate your time, bro.
Appreciate you.
We got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. You guys tune in. Voice of the Fans Sunday special. We'll be on Sunday morning. It'll be afternoon. We'll be on the air Sunday morning. You can hear give you some more in-depth knowledge or preview to the Super Bowl. We'll go talk a little bit more about it, and I actually give you my predictions. And some of you might be able to figure where I'm leaning. Because Brock Purdy has a big game. boy. Cleveland ain't gonna want to see me next week. Cleveland might be off the air next week if Brock Purdy has a big game come Sunday. But you guys will hear my official predictions. And then next week I'll be smacking on some barbecue for Cleveland for my I can't say mine, for the San Francisco 49ers making it to the Super Bowl. I supposed to have some barbecue 2 weeks ago. Somebody didn't want to pay up. Maybe next week I'll have some barbecue. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Let's give Cleveland a round of applause for tuning in. And for those of you guys, please tune in on Sunday morning. So for the Voice of the Fans Sunday special, again, it'll be a big Super Bowl special, Super Bowl preview. We got the big game. We'll be hours away from the big game and just give you more details, more insight of what we expect to see happen. So until then, fans, thank you guys for your time. Let me give you the quote of the week. Cleveland, playing it safe is the riskiest choice we can ever make. Sarah Von Brethnock. Once again, Cleveland, playing it safe is the riskiest choice we can ever make. Sarah Van Brethnock. Meaning, go for what you know, man. Go out there. You got a dream. You got a dream to do something, fans. Make it happen. One day I'll be able to sit down and tell you guys all my story about what's going on, how we got started doing the Voice of the Fans podcast, how I ended up here in Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, I think it's very inspirational. I'll be excited to share it one day, but got to get to where I'm trying to go first. And then I'll be more than gladly to put it on paper, put it in the book. Please, you can check out our my writing, Cleveland's writing. You can check it out on voiceofthefans.org, where we have some content. You can see a lot of the interviews that Cleveland and I referenced during the show. Voiceofthefans.org. Be sure to check that out. Leave a feedback, leave your comments, complaints, and suggestions as you like. Again, I want to shout out Cleveland for being a part of the show. Thank you, sir. Give yourself a round of applause for being a part of the show this evening, fans. Look for us on Sunday morning. We'll have the Voice of the Fans Sunday special. Again, it'll be more like a Super Bowl preview. So look forward to chatting it up with you guys. Cleveland, thanks for your time, bro. I'll let you soon.
All right, bro.
Thank you guys. Thank you for making our voice your choice.